Hello guys and welcome to my channel. So I am your host Idikano, but this is Isaac News. So today we're just going to react to a narrative that has held sway on the Nigerian stage. A lot of people, including myself, at some point felt that there was this massive migration of Nigerians out of Nigeria in a way that was abnormal. And I really felt that, oh my God, a lot of us are really running and leaving the country, for Europe and for other hot destinations abroad. But today I just want to, read some statistics and show you um, the real figures of those who are leaving the country, those who are coming to the country who are not Nigerians, and the general trend of migration and immigration all around the world. So I hope you really enjoyed today's video. And if you do so, I'd like you to like the video, I'd like you to subscribe, and I'd like you to share your thoughts on migration, on immigration, and the whole movement between one country and the other. So enjoy the rest of today's video. So those who think they abandoned Nigeria will be surprised to discover that many citizens of their destination countries are equally migrating to other nations or to the same nation that they will live in. So most Nigerians who are going on right now, I think Canada is a hotspot. Russia was a hotspot, and Ukraine, but the war has, diverted attention elsewhere. Right now, I think Dubai is a hotspot. The whole Arab nation right now is a hotspot for some Nigerians leaving the country. UK is equally a hotspot, but it's an amazing. I made a video about over 200 and I think 86 Nigerians who were granted Nigerian citizenship in earlier, I think mid this year, and I'm going to put the link in the description below so you can check out that video. But then moving on to the whole migration immigration crisis, the current immigration narrative in Nigeria is skewed, is twisted to look as if everyone leaves Nigeria. So just to side comment, immigration is when you leave your country to another country, while immigration is when someone from another country comes into your country. So emigrants are Nigerians living elsewhere who will likely be called diaspora. Then immigrants are non-Nigerians who have come into Nigeria. So right now it looks as if there's a lot of high immigration out of Nigeria, but the truth is only less than 1% of the population migrate out of Nigeria. Less than, I did not say 1%, I said less than 1% of Nigerians actually leave Nigeria. For instance, and at the same time, pardon me, many people from other countries are moving to Nigeria. There's a lot of traffic, from our brothers in our West African brothers on the West African coast, and people coming from Europe, from Asia, and from all across the world to Nigeria, and not just for work purposes, but people who are actually coming to live and stay here. So the biggest housing estate in River State is being built by a Gambian migrant. So someone from Gambia at some point migrated to Nigeria and built the largest housing estates in River State. 8 of the top CEOs in Nigeria are foreigners. 8 of the top 10 CEOs, 8 of the top 10 CEOs in Nigeria are foreigners. So it's very important for us to understand that migration is a global phenomenon, okay? Over 2 million Canadians live outside Canada. Over 11 million American citizens live outside America. Millions of British citizens have moved outside the UK to live elsewhere. Okay, it's the same in Australia, it's the same in New Zealand, it's the same in Ghana, it's the same in South Africa, it's the same in Kenya, so as it is in Nigeria. And for those with a Christian background and with Christian knowledge, we see in scripture that it was a normal thing for people to move up and down, from place to place. At some point in Jesus' life, while he was still a young child, they migrated from Israel, to Egypt. So typically, Jesus Christ migrated to Africa, and then he migrated back from Africa at some point, when Herod no longer sought after his life. So Nigerians, we need to refrain from this migration, immigration conversation, and use migration as an asset and not a tool for a political attack. So I just made a video of how Nigerians abroad, so the Nigerian diaspora community, have in the last 5 years remitted over $20 billion. In fact, they remitted about $5.16 billion in the first quarter of 2022. And in the first 6 months of 2022, they actually remitted about $10.1 billion. So the migrant community, that is the Nigerian migrant community outside Nigeria, you know, are you know are really sending a lot of foreign exchange back home. $10.1 billion in 6 months. That's huge. That's huge. That's the power of having a community outside where you find yourself. Immigration in Nigeria has varied, and in recent years, the total number of international immigrants in Nigeria has grown extensively. So more and more people are beginning to seek the Nigerian visa and gain access to the country. Many people are actually relocating down to the country, not just to do business, but actually seeking to live, dwell, and trade in Nigeria. International migrants come from other African countries, including Benin Republic, Ghana, Mali. The majority of the immigrants are from our neighboring ECOWAS countries, and refugees constitute a small portion of the overall immigrant stock. Moving on, the estimated number of Nigerian international immigrants is estimated to be about 1,256,000 in 2015, and it increased to about 1,438,000 in 2019. So like I said earlier, when you hear the word immigrant, they are people who leave their country to another country. So for the context of this video, the immigrants are Nigerians living outside Nigeria. So that number increased from 1,256,000 in 2015 to 1,438,000 in 2019. I expected that number to be double, but apparently just about, let's say, roughly 250,000 extra have left the country between 2015 and 2019. According to data, there are about 1.3 million foreign migrants who live in Nigeria. So let us just round it off. If about 1.5 million Nigerians live outside Nigeria, 1.3 million non-Nigerians live in Nigeria. Very interesting. 1.3 million non-Nigerians live in Nigeria. 1.5 million Nigerians live outside Nigeria. Does that sound scary? No. So I think the media is using migration as a political stunt to attack the government and to make it seem as though a ton of people are migrating. I would not, I'm not saying this to say that people are not migrating. So a lot of people migrating are the skilled workforce, which is why it is very painful. Okay, doctors, nurses, engineers, just think of intellectuals. Okay, that is why there's a lot of brain drain. That is, I think that is the only reasonable basis for which we can lament about the migration situation in Nigeria, because of brain drain. So a lot of smart minds are leaving the country, seeking greener pastures outside Nigeria. But if we want to estimate this based on number of people leaving Nigeria, we'll find out that, imagine, just 1.5 million Nigerians live outside Nigeria. 11 million USA citizens live outside America. 11 million. Now, you can't even imagine how many Chinese citizens live outside China. It's going to be a crazy number, a very huge number. So nobody should make it seem as if this is it's not a big deal. Migration, immigration, moving from one continent or from one country to another is a normal thing that happens and will keep happening. Okay, it is very normal. Just like within Nigeria now, there's a lot of um, rural to urban migration. So a lot of Nigerians move from the rural area, from the villages, and move to where the cities, to the urban areas. That is why places like Lagos is overpopulated. Cities like River State, but particularly Port Harcourt, is overpopulated. Big cities like Kano is overpopulated. Cities like even Enugu and Anambra are already experiencing large number. Abia State may likely be suffering overpopulation within the Aba metropolis. So it is a normal thing that people move from place to place for trade purposes and for other purposes, maybe work or seeking greener pastures. So let us not make it look as if people are running in their numbers. Please, it's just 1.5. It's only 1.5 million Nigerians currently, based on the statistics, that are living outside Nigeria, and about 1.3 million non-Nigerians are living in Nigeria. So be rest assured that it is nothing to be scared or to be worried about. And like I said, these guys are actually remitting a very handsome sum of money to the Nigerian central bank, to the Nigerian economy, and for this, God will immensely bless them. So this way, we're just going to end with this reaction on the immigration and immigration crisis or story. I'd like you to share your thoughts on this video. I'd like you to like this video. I'd like you to comment on the video. I'd like you to share it. I'd like you to turn on your bell so you could be updated whenever we release more videos in the coming days. So till we meet again, I remain your host, Eddie Kanobot, and remain blessed.